Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo SportsCenter video. I am Don. With me today is Cal, co-founder of our Instagram. How are you doing today, Cal?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
I am feeling pumped up and ready to go. Before we get into the content, though, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, follow our Instagram, join the Discord, look at our new BSC website. All three of those links are in the description down below. And let's get on with it now. And surprisingly enough, the NHL draft is only 2 weeks away. Can you even believe it?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, Just sat down and watched the NBA draft the other night, and it's crazy. We're already progressing in the Stanley Cup final. It's at the time of this recording, it's still going on. So kind of crazy to think about that the off season's already getting ready to start moving on a little bit, and Sabres hockey will be back before we know it. So
yeah, absolutely. And well, you mentioned the NBA draft. I got a question for you. Who are you a fan of more, Jalen Williams or Jalen Williams?
That's a good question. Personally, I'm a Jalen Williams type of guy. I just feel like he's a better shooter overall, a better playmaker. But we'll see as they both go on with their careers.
Yeah, they each have interesting qualities, but I'm gonna agree with you and go with Jalen. I like Jalen a lot. I think he's fantastic. Okay. And unfortunately, though, there are no Jalen Williamses for the Sabres to select in this draft this year. Maybe there will be a couple next year. You never know. But let's get right into it. And the Sabres have 3 first-round picks. We are only going to talk about first-rounders because I'm not well-educated enough. I don't know about you, Kale, but I don't know enough about the other 6 rounds. So we're going to stick to the first one. But there's plenty of stuff to talk about for the Sabres in the first round. Cal, what do you think are the biggest needs for the Sabres here with these 3 picks?
I'm going to start with probably the most obvious one, forward. The Sabres need another forward. They need another go-to guy. And, you look at the Sabres team last year, they got a great, top 2 lines. That fourth line was hit or miss. Again, the third line, though, the last 2 years, we've been missing one line, whether it's, the second or third line. One of the two is not playing up to snuff. So I think the Sabres are going to be very aggressively pursuing a forward in free agency, and I think they hit it hard in the draft as well.
I can see definitely, because we've been very defensive-oriented in our higher draft picks, except for last year. It was kind of surprising. We got Jack Quinn and JJ Peterka and Poltapov. All those are forwards. But this year I can really see like 2 forwards and 1 defenseman going with these 3 picks. So, let's get on with it now. The number 9 pick will be the first pick that the Sabres own in this draft. I got a couple names here. Cal, you got a couple names? No, I'm just kidding.
I've written down.
There's a couple of names here that are really standing out recently in the whole rumorscape. First one up is Connor Geekie, center. He's been pretty good. He last played in the WHL with Winnipeg, and I think that the 6'4" center would be just another quality piece, especially since you don't know what's going to happen on your bottom 2 lines in terms of center position.
Yeah, you can never have enough centers, and especially if you're the Buffalo Sabres, we've seen year after year after year, we don't have enough centers at all. We had to turn Tage Thompson into a center, which was honestly a fabulous decision, a fantastic decision by head coach Don Granato, but it could have went poorly. Casey Middlestat, experimented a little bit with him. We've even seen Jeff Skinner have to play center the last few years, and that's how bad it's gotten. The Sabres need some centers, and like we said in our trade deadline videos, they could, add on, or not trade deadline, free agency, either one, but overall, I do think this would be a great pick for the Sabres. This is actually my first selection. This would be my top guy who I could see the Sabres would be picking at that number 9 pick. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And right now on NHL's draft board, he's the 5th top prospect in this year's draft. But there are some rumors that he could be falling, especially with teams above us like the Devils needing a defenseman. Maybe the Flyers also need a defenseman. Teams like that could jump up and get those kind of guys. that would be perfect for the Sabres. Play right into their hands and see good young forwards drop to our position. Another name that I keep hearing about is Matthew Savoie, another center. This time he's the fourth ranked prospect, but another guy you could see be falling on the boards. He's also from Winnipeg in the WHL. These two guys were teammates, first line and second line. So how would you feel about Savoie? It would be mainly the same facts, but specifically him. How would you feel about it?
Another great selection for the Sabres, I'd say. I'd be very happy if they make this pick. Unfortunately, I don't think the Sabres would be, at the point where they would select him. I do see him going a little bit above the Sabres. But if he does fall down to the Sabres, I think it would be a fabulous pick.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really go wrong this year. There's no, I hate to say it, but there's not really like anyone that stands out for me that would be like, I definitely want him. This guy's going to, transform the team, especially with the Sabres picking, around that 9 spot again, which we've seen, year in year since we really started tanking. But, guys that we've gotten in that, slot too haven't really panned out to be superstars in the last few years, guys like Cousins, Middlestad, all them. So we just got to hope, we can make a selection and hope that one of these forwards finally takes that step where they, overproduce.
Absolutely. But it's destined that both of these guys will be going in the top 12 picks. Rumors are that it's really weird. This draft, like you mentioned, doesn't have a standout player. It's essentially wide open, even the top slot. We don't know if it's going to be Shane Wright or I'm not even going to pronounce the other guy's name.
Yeah.
It's tough. A lot of European guys that are going high up this board that I can't pronounce any of their names. But it's a wide open draft. I see if either one of these guys, Geeky or Savoie, fall to the Sabres, have to take him. You have to take him at that number 9 spot. Let's move on now to the number 16 position. I think that the Sabres should go for another forward here. And one big name I keep seeing pop up is, I'm going to butcher this last name, Rutger McGroarty. He's a forward. He's very versatile. How do you feel about McGroarty?
Yeah, definitely could be a huge aspect of the Sabres team. Kind of a guy that you could plug in there, kind of play his role. And I could definitely see, I've watched some of his college film. I could definitely see him, transform to that next step in the NHL. When you watch, a younger guy's film in other leagues or college or, even youth hockey, you can really tell, if a guy has that it factor. And I have seen that with him. He's had some, some solid plays that you're like, okay, this guy could definitely take the next step. Not saying he's gonna, but you could definitely see the potentials there.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's got one of the highest IQs in the draft, in my opinion. He's fantastic at center. He can play, he mainly played center, but if necessary, the Sabres could push him out onto either wing if required. But I think that he would be a phenomenal pick. And a lot of people in the comment section have been saying, get McGroarty, get McGroarty. And absolutely, do it now. He would be the, fun fact, second ever Nebraska player selected into the NHL, which is pretty strange. Jake Guentzel was the other one, and we all know how Jake Guentzel is. So, Nebraska, they're 1-for-1 in draft picks. Let's hope if the Sabres were to get McGroarty, he would be another instant hit with the Sabres.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely could be a solid selection.
Yes. And another guy that I keep seeing pop up, this one's a defenseman. His name is Denton Mateychuk. He's a left shot defenseman. And this one would be a little more interesting, but he's another hard-hitting, bruising defenseman who's highly ranked in this draft.
Yeah, the Sabres are looking for another defender, too. They want at least one or two more, and they definitely could get one out of the first round of the draft. This guy I could definitely see the Sabres taking. I think they do want one of those guys that could stand up for their players. And, we talked about this time and time again. The Sabres do not have a guy right now who's willing to stand up for their teammates and, situations. We saw Dylan Cousins have to fight for himself. Dahlin have to fight for himself. That can't be happening in the future if you want those guys to be star players. So definitely could see the Sabres going after a hard-hitting defenseman. But I also do think if they want, skill-based defenseman, I think they're waiting for free agency.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 194 pounds. Actually, he's not that big, considering other defensemen on the Sabres roster. Mattias Samuelsson, he's humongous. But Denton, he has fantastic puck control. It's very good from him. I don't necessarily know if he's going to fall to the Sabres at number 16. He may be a top 10 pick. You never know, given this
Yeah.
wide open draft. But if he's there, Sabres should definitely consider him. Now, let's move on now to the final pick that the Sabres currently have. And I don't think the Sabres are going to trade any of their top 3 first-round picks, even though it's fun thinking about it. A Kevin Fiala give up a first. I don't see it happening. I think Kevin Adams is going to keep all of his cards close to his chest and keep this number 28 pick. And there is one guy here that screams potential at this spot, and he's a Russian, and he's a little bit injury prone, but his name is Ivan Miro Shnichenko. There we go. Ivan Miroshnichenko. Guys, say that in the chat 5 times and don't be confused.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment about how I butcher. I'm sorry, Mr. Miroshnichenko. But he would be another fantastic pick. He's 18 years old. He's only a couple days older than me, surprisingly enough, which is telling me, I got to get off my ass and do something with my life. But this guy is, of all the picks in the first round, has to be the most turnstile, versatile. You don't know really where this guy's going to hit.
Yeah, this would be an interesting pick. Like you said, a little bit injury prone, a little bit of a mystery player. Could definitely snag him up, and I'd be happy to take a chance. As we know, the Sabres have recently started taking Russians again in the draft. We know that there's that long, long area where they didn't, but they did now. And the Russian leagues, we've seen a few issues with guys being stuck in Russia, trying to get out of these Russian leagues to try to come play in different minor league systems around the world and to try to get into the AHL. So we'll see how that pans out. Obviously, there's been some drama around that, but to work around that, I do think this would be a good pick. I'd love to take the chance on him if we still have this pick. I'm not so sure that the Sabres are going to keep all 3 picks in the first round, just based on the fact that we've heard so many rumors about different moves. But if we do have this pick, I'd definitely be okay with taking him.
Yeah. Miroshnichenko, he's known because he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma this past year and he missed the entire season. Now it looks like he's gonna survive, thank God. And before he went down with that serious illness, he was fantastic in the VHL, which is the KHL's AHL, their minor league, their top minor league. He was great there. And as an 18-year-old, the sky's the limit, especially when he's healthy. He's speedy, he's young, he's very good on the wing. I think the Sabres would be very remiss to pick him up.
Yeah, I've read up on him just a little bit, before coming on today, and I really saw, a lot of his former coaches, teammates have said this guy's a fighter. Like he's coming back from this illness. He's going to do everything he can to work, try to get into the league. He just has that personality about him where, he goes down with an injury, he goes down with an illness, he's going to get right back up. He's going to try as hard as he can. Yeah. He's going to get back to that rank. So I can totally see him becoming a pretty good player in the league, and I hope we do take a chance on him if he is still there.
I hope just any NHL team. His story is gripping. It's fantastic. The fact that he's still even able to continue his hockey career is amazing. And we've already seen, there's one guy each year that NHL teams avoid because he's short, he's got an illness, he's got some underlying thing. Cole Caulfield jumps off my head as one of those guys. Sabres passed on him for Dylan Cousins. I think that was still the right move, but we don't want to pass up on another guy like that because the potential is just so high. And if he's there at this late stage in the first round, why not go for him? Just why not?
Yeah, we've seen historically, too. The NHL is a league where anything past, I'd say, pick 20 in the first round is kind of up for grabs. You don't really have that NFL style where, he's a solidified first-round pick, second-round pick. These guys tend to kind of, be hit or miss. So you could definitely take chances on guys. You're not going to get, this guy's going to be a solid guy in the league for 20 years in the late first round. You don't know. So.
Yeah, you never know. As with any pick in the draft, we've seen guys like Nolan Patrick taken as high as number 2 completely failed. Nail Yakupov at number 1, he failed. So the NHL draft, that's what makes it so fun. But anyways, Thank you guys so much for watching. You saw our needs and our draft targets for the first round for the Sabres. I was Don. This was Cal. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and see y'all in the next video. Peace.